you the signal now. It'll be about another. All right, anytime. Give it 10 seconds. You should be live.
Yeah. Okay. Right, I think we may well be live. And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Eyes Up Mother Brown. And it's an emergency ward 10 version of Eyes Up Mother Brown, because we're all knackered or sick, or casualty if you're a bit younger than me. And let's face it, most people are. Graham Howlett, who's normally here, is a bit under the weather. He may pop in a little bit later on, but he's going to wrap himself up warm with a blanket on the sofa and watch it presumably through his fingers. So I'm joined with the similarly afflicted Rio. Afternoon, Rio. And what's your ailment today?
Afternoon, mate. I've had a bit of a cold the last couple of days, and where I've got a little bit of a condition, it just knocked me for six completely. But unlike those who have shifted to colder climes up north, we're proper London, aren't we? We made the stern stuff. We're out here. We're doing. We're live. Yeah.
It's gone up north, and second the temperature drops. Oh dear, I've got a bit of a sniffle. For my part,
I can still hear you, by the way. I've not gone yet.
Yeah,
have a good one.
This will this broadcast will conclude with an appeal for a couple of new broadcasters, I suspect. Then, for my part, I'm supposed to be at the game today, but I've got a very bad arthritic foot, and when I tried to leave earlier on, I really got about as far as the front door and thought, this isn't happening. So I can barely walk. And I thought, well, if I've got to sit and watch it on the sofa, who better to watch it with than some friends? But none being available, I came on here instead. So, Rio, how you doing, mate? Have you got the teams? Because the teams are about to come out. I was what I'd like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got the teams. Our host today, Tottenham Hotspur, line up as follows: Fraser Forster, Romero, Eric Deere, Longlet, Emerson Royale, Højbjerg, Skip Ben Davis, Kulisevsky, Richarlison, and up front, Harry Kane. On the bench, they have Davison Sanchez, Son Heung-min, Perisic, Danjuma, Porro, Tanganga, Lucas Moura, Sarr, and Austin. And the visitors today, us. There's been much weighing on the internet, so if you've not seen it, this is the reason why people are losing their marbles at the moment. In goal, Lucas Fabianski, a back three of Theo Kehrer, Angelo Bonner, and Naif Aguerd. Vladimir Soufal and Emerson as wing-backs. A midfield of Thomas Souček, Declan Rice, and Flynn Downs, with Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio also making up the starting 11. On the bench, we have Ben Johnson, Aaron Cresswell, Gianluca Scamacca, Pablo Fornells, Manuel Lanzini, Alphonse Areola, Dan Ings, Said Benrahma, and Kalen Casey.
Yeah, I think my first thoughts and first thoughts of everybody on this have been perhaps not the most attacking of lineups. It doesn't look like that's a side designed to go out and go for it. What do you think, mate?
No, exactly. I mean, we're in a dire situation at the moment. Let's make no bones about that. This is full-on relegation battle. We know David Moyes sets up, particularly against the teams in the upper echelons of the table, predominantly not to lose. Now, you can argue maybe he's gone a little bit too defensive today. But I think it's actually a kind of almost a wise kind of move, to be honest. I think Flynn Downs brings a little bit of stability in the back line, just in front of the back four. Obviously, Declan Rice is Declan Rice. Thomas Souček, if he's allowed to play further forward, because Flynn Downs is patrolling the back echelons of our team, it might allow Thomas Souček to play a little bit more further forward and get into the aerial zones where we know he can be dangerous. I don't think it's the end of the world. It's compact. And we know that on the bench, we've got Scamacca back, but he's not fully fit. Dan Ings has been carrying a knock apparently, and he's not 100% fit. So maybe with the tools at our disposal, it's probably the most sensible lineup.
Yeah, sorry, I've just been distracted slightly by the just the picture of David Moyes that they put up just there half a second ago as they're running through the teams. I sort of sound boastful, but I've got one of these tellies that does Ultra HD. And the sort of close-up photograph of Moyes does him absolutely no favours whatsoever. It looks like what's the name of the Terrorhawks, the baddie in Terrorhawks, if you remember that. It's sort of gone very close in. You can see every sort of pore and pockmark on his face. But you don't get that sort of insight on the BBC, do you?
No. Yeah. It doesn't kind of affects on the BBC, let alone the insight.
True, yeah. But as I say, it's well, we'll see. Although I guess if there's some sort of precedent, there was the time that we lined up with no strikers whatsoever in the Allardyce era, and it just confused the hell out of them so much. I think we won, was it 3-0 that time, wasn't it?
3-0 that day. I can also recall the League Cup game when we lined up, and everyone on the concourse saw our starting 11 and thought, so we just stayed down here. They had London pride on. Everyone was going like, we'll just stay here. And yet we won it. Madibo Maiga and Matt Jarvis getting the winners. Yeah.
So, we are, on my telly, we're just about to kick off. Players are taking the knee. I won't join them because I won't be able to get up again. And on my telly, we're underway. Actually, we actually got underway. And Ogbonna was still down on one knee there. But, we're underway. And immediately, I was going to say on the attack, but some sort of infringement there when I looked away. So not an awful lot happening. So, we'll do a time check show, mate. It's for me, it's 22, 23, 24 seconds.
Yeah, I'm roughly on par with you, about 28 now.
Okay, so we won't be doing a Mexican wave if and when a goal goes in.
The beauty of actually getting a proper stream rather than something rather iffy.
Yeah. As I say, I've got it on the box. So now Souček in the box squares the ball.
God.
Well.
Yeah. The whole we're going to be overcautious thing. We've actually had a shot in the first minute.
Yeah.
Big throw in to Thomas Souček, who slides the ball back really well, actually. Jared Bowen hits it on almost on the half volley, but just fires it wide. But a very promising start.
Cool. Yeah, very, very. Well, we, unlike the previous couple of weeks, we actually turned up for the first few moments. And I mean, I guess it's one of those ones where Bowen caught it very, very sweetly. It was only a foot or two wide. I think it's Forster in the goal. Probably had it covered, but promising first 1 minute 30 seconds so far.
Come downhill from now.
Yeah. Talking of us being all sick while it's going a bit quiet, I came across the other day a staple from daytime television when you were off sick in the sort of late 60s, early 70s. Do you remember a thing called Crown Court?
Yeah, that was the bane of my life, actually, because I wasn't interested in all that kind of nonsense. No, I used to watch, obviously, when I was at school, and we had a 6 weeks holidays, bit of Neighbours, bit of Hudson and Halls, and used to think the channels looking for something of entertainment. Crown Court come on, and it was dull as ditch water.
There's a channel's broadcasting at the moment called Talking Pictures. We'll get back to that in a minute. We have a free kick, and it's Emerson floats the ball into the box, and it's won there by O'Gurd, and I think they may well be claiming offside there, but we've got a corner. Bonner's just waving at the liner and saying no. Let's have a look. O'Gurd got on it, and Bonner was offside at the header, but Højbjerg had to clear it, and the corner's been given. So one in our favour. Rice on the left. It's on our left. Rice is going to looks like he's going to swing that one in, and so it goes. got to the edge of the box, but it's cleared, and down doesn't quite get it out to Rice. Rice then sort of, I think, brings down Kane there. Cloyson, rather. Klosevsky, sorry, I can never remember his name. He's gone down. It's taken him a while to get up, but it wasn't that much of a collision. So there's another Spurs player down. So we got a bit of a laugh. Yeah, this channel Talking Pictures, it's full of those old black and white films that they used to put on in the 60s and 70s because they couldn't put on anything too recent. I think the rule was that you had to be more than 4 years old. So all those Ealing comedies and old war films, and just think, well, I think it was Romero that especially headed the back of Chuck Richarlison. But we're all underway again. And the thing about Crown Court, of course, was, as Viz fans will know, it's all set in the fictional town of Fulchester, which Viz nicked for all its stuff. So now Souček wins the ball there, plays it into Antonio. Antonio tries to play it wide for Souček, and I think, they've given the corner.
Yeah,
that might have been a foul. Souček sort of Souček forces the corner. Let's put it that way. I think it's probably the politest way. So it's all been played. 4 minutes 40 seconds gone, and it's all being played in the Tottenham half at the moment.
What a turnaround in the last 2 weeks. Newcastle, we should have been 2-3 down after 10 minutes. Chelsea, we could have been dead and buried by 15. And we've actually switched on for a change.
Right. Rice's corner's not great though. Doesn't beat the first man. It's cleared, and Stufal's mopping up. Emerson looking for help out left, and that's a bit weak. Antonio kicked it out. I think he might have been looking for a shove in the back there, but so now Spurs on what so far in the first 5 minutes have been a rare foray into our house. Again, deals with a cross, but they're still that's Davis and Richarlison's quite easy to spot, of course. Spurs now sort of enjoying their first spell of possession, really. Whilst it's going from side to side, although hang on, we'll just break off there. It's Davis now on the left, and Soufal slips at an inopportune moment, and that's just going to be offside and go out for a goal kick. So, bit weedy there. Sorry, we've been very rude. We should welcome everybody who's come onto the YouTube chat thing. So that's our usual chums: Hobo, Tony Mitchell, Craig Moorhead, Dan B, Steve Palmer. So I've got to make this bigger so I can see the damn thing. All right. Hobo said he watched the blue lamp on Talking Pictures last night. Yes, the blue lamp that got poor old Jack Dixon of Dock Green shot and killed, only to be survive for another about 40 years on the box. Good play there. We appear to be actually sort of forcing Spurs to concede possession quite deep in their half. I mean, Souček's having a whale of a time at the moment and just tried to get across into Antonio, which, to be fair, was probably going behind him, but flicked off the Spurs player and was easily gathered in by Forster rather. This is a promising start. Whisper it to everybody.
Don't speak too soon. I think it's showcased almost in a moment what we like about Thomas Souček when he can play a bit of a further forward role.
Now Spurs with the ball,
and he's just come back and marvellous defending, but we lost the ball now. Yeah,
that was some good defending though from Souček there, and Richarlison. So, and we'll do a little bit of defending now, but Soufal's down there, plays the ball down the line, but I think Antonio misjudges the line of the ball there and doesn't really get onto it. So it's back in Spurs territory as they try to build again now. But yeah, so I think Hobo's saying that his stream is so far behind that my foot will have healed by the time he catches up. I don't care how far behind. I hope so, Hobo. Sooner rather than later. Great interception there from Downs and was it Bowen?
Early yellow card. Oliver Skip.
Yeah, Skip was basically, it was great interception. Ball was played to Bowen and yeah, just went straight through. Let's have a look at it again. Oh yes, straight through over the top. Caught Antonio on top of the ankle. Deserved yellow. So only 8, well, just under 9 minutes gone, and he's got the rest of the game now to play on a yellow card. So
having had
free kick.
the misfortune to watch Tottenham in the week in the Champions League, I can safely say that Skip is the most aptly named Tottenham player because that's where he belongs. He wasn't particularly impressive in the week, and he's just shown his class again there. All the subtlety of Cyril Smith there.
You've been waiting for that, haven't you? You've been waiting for the opportunity, and he granted it to you on 8 minutes.
Was it 3 years of doing this? I've got a little notepad full of them.
Skip belongs in one. Tick. No, fair play. Yeah, go on then, Højbjerg. What you got for him now?
Oh man, that's A-level punditry.
Oh yeah. So Sky pundits. So I don't know if Graham's watching this from his sofa, having set us up and everything, but yeah.
He's down about an hour.
I think you owe us a pay rise for this. Yeah. Probably 100%, which since we don't get paid for this, it'll be. But it's all a bit quiet, as you can probably work out at the moment. Spurs are now sort of beginning to sort of hold on to the ball a little bit, and that's not sure what happened there. Ball's gone down their left wing. They get the cross in, and well, that's the first chance that Spurs have had. Cross came in from their left and our right, and so that was that was Kehrer basically just mistimed any sort. Well, didn't get any challenge on it at all. Cross came in, it fell to a thick Skip, and did that come off? I'm not sure it came off. I thought it came off their player, but they've got a corner from their left. It's swung out, headed out to the edge of the box. Now Kane's come from an offside position there. He's now playing a handball in there, but I think there was Kane definitely came back from offside there, but they're whinging about something, Tottenham. But it didn't look like handball. It didn't look like it got high enough to hit anybody in the hand. But play's continuing anyway, and it's back in the Spurs half, and they're now just doing the usual sort of playing around themselves at the back.
Yeah, what I noticed the way though, when we are on a little bit of the cost like we are at the moment, when we do clear our lines, it's not falling to a West Ham shirt. So we're automatically getting under pressure again once more.
Yeah. Now they're having a look at something for VAR, and Kerr is the one. It's hit Kerr on the hand, but it's a little bit like it's a little bit like the Souček one last week, insofar as he's on his hand's not in an unnatural position, and it's hit his hand rather than anything else. So all their hands have gone up, but the VAR check's complete, and they've decided that that's not a penalty, thankfully. I think that was less of one than Souček's was last week, to be honest. What do you reckon?
Antonio just down the ball right hand side, good strength, and he's hit the ball out left. We're playing the ball around there. Kehrer back to Soufal. Nice little spell of possession after being like a little bit under the cosh for the last couple of minutes. Yeah, I think it would have been incredibly harsh. It was very reminiscent of Souček's handball last week, which I still think come off his knee. Every time I look at the replay, I'm thinking knee. This one was more definitely hands. But it's the first time we had a lending hand off the Referees Association for a good few years.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm in my 60s and I'm struggling to think about it. Oh no, that's surely a free kick. Well, referee waves play on. Emerson looked like he was just sort of cleared out there, but he's back on his feet again. That's Oliver though for you. He's one of those you think he would eat himself if he could, you know. I tell you what, Souček's having a good game today, in my opinion, so far in the first quarter, 14 minutes we got. What do you reckon? I think he's doing really well.
Absolutely. He's been involved both defensively and offensively, and he's looked every part of the quality of player we know he can be. If you utilise him in the right manner, then you've got a really good player in your hands.
That's some good work from Agard there to intercept a ball down the line and win us back possession. And just now looking for players in space at the moment and playing it around, keeping possession. It's one of those sort of little spells there. We got the possession. You just don't want us to do anything daft with it because we haven't got anywhere with it. And well, I thought Bowen was fouled there, and Downs won the ball from the loose ball there, and that's Højbjerg went in on him. So another free kick to West Ham. Højbjerg may be a little lucky not to go in the book there. Yeah, I mean, it's sorry, they're showing the penalty claim again. It's hit him on the hand, but it's, you know, he's not stuck a hand out at it. It's where his hand is. So it's the case of not being really able to get it out of the way. Now Tottenham have a bit of space to try and build, but they play it back and lose a little bit of momentum. But now it's now their turn to attack anyway. And well, that's interesting.
Carlos is he's one of them players you just want to, you know, kick. Kick.
Yeah.
I know we live in the age of
interesting
appeals left, right, and centre on TV.
Yeah,
Ewan McGregor's made a second living from it, but he's appealing for everything.
Yeah. Or just looking at that replay, he might have a slight point. Ball was played in, it took a flick off a defender, and Fabianski went out wide of his goal to try and keep it in, and Richarlison got in there, got a touch on it, but it did look like it came off Fabianski's heel. Referee disagreed, as did the lino, and it was a goal kick. Well, it's 16 minutes into the game. That's gone quite quickly, and it's it's a very even game, but we're certainly more than holding on. We're on the attack at the moment.
Again, Tom Souček in a very good position now.
Yeah,
lovely ball from back, taken by Jared Bowen, brings it under control really nicely, fires it directly across the box. Thomas Souček, if he'd just been a little, I think it was offside, unfortunately, but half a yard further forward, and that was the opening goal. Yeah, I think as you rightly say, I think once VAR got involved in that, then that was going to be ruled out had it gone in. But again, good play, good build-up play, and now we got Tottenham's go to have a go, and Kane had a speculative effort from distance that didn't even make the penalty area, such as the block, and it's gone back. So that's good play from Ogbonna as well. Just shepherds Kane off the ball nicely and lets it run through. So I'm
I will deem myself mildly content at present. How about that?
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I actually think it's probably in our best opening period for well, almost living memory this season.
Wow. Souček just won another ball and got kicked off the ball. Didn't react to it, but Souček going in there like every tackle depended on it. It was like another excellent bit of work from Souček. There was a superb tackle. Yeah, they've got the sort of action areas first half. 20% is in our sort of third. 28 is in Tottenham's third, and the remainder is in the middle bit. So yeah, fairly even. I think 8%. We're 8% more attacking than they are, for what that's worth. And you know what I'm like with these statistics, yeah. How much
there is the counter argument. It says they're 8% more offensive than us, and we all know they're 100% more offensive than us.
Well, yeah. I mean, deodorant seems to be at a premium in Harringay. And I tell you what, I don't know if it's mainly down to Bowen or to Souček, but other players are getting stuck in. I mean, I've just seen Bowen. Okay, it was a foul, but Bowen going in to win the ball back with not inconsiderable force there, and sort of minor foul, but a foul nevertheless. So it seems to be rubbing off. I think they're all sort of doing it now. So
yeah, there seems to be a lot more fight in the actual team this week. We've seen the last 2 games. Sorry, that the opening spells have been absolutely abysmal, and there's a lot of people looking at each other, not knowing exactly what they're doing, looking for leadership on the pitch. Thomas Souček seems to have taken up their mental today, and like I said, it's rubbed off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, long may this continue. That's a bit unlucky. Attempt to play the ball out there. I think it was Antonio out there, just a foot too far away from him. Couple of things. Craven Moorhead. Yeah. I mentioned Oliver eating himself, and mentions Alan Pardew's nickname of chocolate, because he'd eat himself if he could. And I think that's all we're allowed to say about Alan Pardew, isn't it?
If that super injunction is still out.
Sorry, what super injunction? That you're not. If it's a super injunction, you're not allowed to mention it. But let's just say we're not allowed to say stuff, and let's move on from that one before we get closed down. Polaroid's on. Hello, Polaroid, mate. Hello, everyone. Better start than I expected. Yeah, you and us as well. Yeah. Got any comments? Feel free to throw them up there, and as and when you'll have worked out that Graham's not at the helm today, so it's a little bit more amateurish than one might expect. Now, care has been done by Richarlison here, but the other players regroup, and Antonio doesn't quite hold on to it, and Spurs go on the attack again. They're trying to work away on the right hand side from their perspective of the box. West Ham looking very compact though, although that's going to go up for a goal kick. That's great defending again there from that's again, isn't it? Yeah. It's just superb. Just shepherded the ball out, let them take the touch, and then watched it out. Very, very glad he was fit to play, because what confidence I had would have gone completely, I think, if he'd been out there. He's a class act, and it's just a shame his season's been blighted by injury this year. I think we saw during the World Cup how Morocco were. Now Emerson's gone down. I don't know. That was a foul because they weren't showing it at the time, but we seem to have a free kick. So Emerson seemed to be the victim, but I don't know what the foul was. And hello, Andy. Andy Welsh has picked up on the comments thing. Now, Bowen's doing a lot of work on the left for a change here, but tries to get a ball in, but gets cleared, but we regain possession, and that's a nice ball from Rice. Stu check out to Sufal. Oh, gets the cross in, but it's blocked and back for a throw in.
Play some nice football there.
Yeah. Some nice incisive passing, and that's a good ball again. Downs tried to play Bowen in, but that didn't quite work. But Tottenham now aren't holding on to the ball as well. Every time they clear, they're losing it. It's coming back to us. Long may that continue. So did I say hello, Andy? Andy Welsh has just arrived. Hello, Andy. If I did, well, you got it twice. 2 for the price of 1.
I've also just in the last couple of minutes seen the polar opposites of Theo Kehrer. He got caught out for that last Tottenham chance, which Sufal did a lovely little interception to break up the attack in the end. But Kehrer was exposed really badly there. But in the last minute, gone further forward, and he's played some really nice passes. And that nice little touch into Flynn Downs in the edge of the box was something that we've said going forward to class act. Defensively, is a little bit of a worry still for me.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that one. But it's that sort of incisive passing between the lines that we've been struggling with, I think, all season. We're up to today really, but a player in Kehrer's position there would have weighed up the sort of gap there and decided it was too narrow, and then looked to play it square. That's what we've done far too often. But that's not the case today. So any other things we got on there? No, nobody's talking at the moment. So there's one thing I want to talk about, as he's just on the ball now, and we just want to throw in Sufal, who's been playing a lot better the last few weeks, I think, in my opinion, anyway. But I'd say he's got away with one or two sort of late challenges.
I think he's definitely upturned in form over the last. I think starting from the Newcastle game really, but it was showing signs of improvement before that. But again, you always feel that he's only a split second away from a yellow card because he likes to go in hard, doesn't he? And hefty.
Yeah.
And a fraction later, and you've got a yellow card on your hands.
Free kick given to Spurs there. Ogbonna kind of went over the top of Kane, but one of those where you could probably give 2 free kicks, one either way, because Kane was definitely making a bit of a back. But it went Kane's way, but they're a bit ponderous over the build-up, and Sufal then slides in and puts the ball out for a throw-in again. Oh, so the ball's bobbling around edge of the box, but that's another great block there. That's Bowen, isn't it, getting in there?
Yeah.
Again, it's like it's from I would say from 1 to 11, but from 1 to wherever that people are actually putting their bodies on the line, as they say. Now it's our turn to not hold on to the ball, and we're a promising situation there that could have had a decent break, but it's come back. Now Spurs are in the box. That's a great clearing header from Souček, who's absolutely everywhere this afternoon. And another cross comes in. It's header Kulusevski now puts another long cross in, and it's far too long. It's just gone out for a goal kick.
There's 2 key moments for me there. Well, the start of that passage of play is a great clearance from Theo Kehrer once again. Well, now this is where his defensive attributes, normally are lacking, but it was a really good clearance. Yeah. Unfortunately, as time and time has happened, it fell straight to the Tottenham player. But as you say, when the cross come in again, there's Thomas Souček once more. He's been everywhere today. It's a class act so far.
I'll have a pint of what he's been drinking. So Alan Pardew's dad's come on. Possibly not really Alan Pardew's dad or his real name, I suspect.
Thank God he's not his lawyer, though.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's not his lawyer. Yeah. we don't want to do that again. I'm not allowed to say that. But, he said, hello, Mr. Pardew Senior, then, shall I say. He says we're looking all right so far, although just a bit of Spurs pressure just then. But yeah, we are looking all right so far. I think, yeah. I'm worried now because we're looking all right. We've been doing this for too long, haven't we? So how's your throat hanging out, working out?
It's my throat's all right. I mean, I've not had a coffee in the fit yet, so be prepared for that because they've been coming quite frequently. I think it's the longest I've been without absolutely almost choking to death.
All right.
You'll see it when it happens, or you hear it.
I had it was around the time of my 50th birthday, and I went to see a band play, and I had the worst, really bad cough. I cut away because Richarlison's got into the box, tries to get a cross in. I think that's come off for Richarlison, yeah, and goal kick. So again, great defending there. I think that was Kehrer this time. Yeah, well played, sir. But I went to see this band play, and I had an awful cough, and it was one of those ones where you stop breathing part of the way through the cough, and I passed out in the middle of a concert. I suddenly came to with a crowd around me. But yeah, at the Robin 2 Bilston, that was. Now, Bowen's won the ball there, tries to put Antonio through, gets a bit in the air, but we got the ball back, and we can try and build again now. Yeah. So now we've got Kehrer now who's looking for someone to play. Oh, doesn't do Soufal any favours there, but thankfully, it's their number 33, Davis, isn't it? Yeah. Basically, Soufal probably bought a foul there, but the ball from Kehrer to Soufal is, sorry, mate, I owe you a pint delivery, I think, for that one.
Kehrer takes the resulting free kick, just plays it in the Declan Rice. Again, we're just being very patient in our build-up, not doing any kind of silly long passes. And yeah, look, trying to eke out space rather than doing something brainless. We're knocking the ball around, but
Antonio. That was our worst touch of the day so far. Antonio tried to lay it off and just didn't get anything on it, but we break down the attack, and I suppose I've got the ball now. It's back, and we win the ball back. Again, it's like a bunch of terriers there when Spurs have got the ball. There's Souček and Flynn, Errol, as I want to call him, Downs. Whenever there is a sort of chance of just getting a foot in, we're actually doing it quite well. There's Bowen doing it again now. Okay, they come away with the ball, but we're not letting them settle at all. Now, that's interesting ball. Cross comes in, but again, it's dealt with and played out and throw in just inside our half. A little bit of a promising move from the Spurs perspective there. Again, I think our right hand side is the one I'd be targeting if I were an opponent. I don't know about you, but
yeah, because you've got the enigmatic defending ability of Theo Kehrer. Vladimir likes like the bomb on every now and then. So and with Richarlison operating down that left flank, you think that's the most liable we're going to be to concede from now. But now we're doing okay at the minute. We're not offered any really clear-cut chances for them.
They're building up now. Balls in the box, big cross, and that beats everybody. I think that looked like it went out to me, but Davis has apparently keeps it in, gets another cross in, and another header mopped up again by Souček. Spurs trying to build up a bit of pressure. That's
I'm not sure that was a corner.
I thought that had gone, hadn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was for.
Let's have a look. So Yeah, Kara and Sue just about put, and they just cut the feed there just when I thought it had gone out the first bit. They're not showing the actual corner. Corner swung in swinger. Fabianski punches it. Gets a decent bit of distance on it. And Spurs now having to play it back towards the halfway line. I'd like to see us get out a little bit quicker from this though. But Spurs team in no hurry to get it back into the box though. So normal service resumed, I think.
A nice little bit of pressurising by Flynn Downs, pushing them out a little bit further back.
Yeah.
But he quickly drops back into shape, so offers them the chance to knock the ball around the back, regain their composure. But yeah, no, that's I like about Flynn Downs. Is that he's not a spectacular player, but he does everything kind of more than adequately. He uses the ball well, sensibly. He works hard. He gets a tackle in. He has an eye for a forward pass. So I think it's a really good acquisition, Russ. I think Ken's quite unlucky that he's not got a few more opportunities, particularly at the start of the season. Obviously, with Paquetá coming in now, he's got more scarce opportunities.
It's good in a way that we've got sort of competition for places, I suppose, in a couple of areas now.
Yeah.
And I mean, even early on in the season, the few opportunities he had, I thought he does look out of place. That's what I was thinking. You know, sorry, West Ham not holding onto the ball at all well there. That was something that if we'd been a bit more awake, we might have built something from. But that's a great tackle there from that's Bowen again on the left. Antonio tries to sell a dummy there, but doesn't quite work. And Spurs are on the attack again, but they're wayward with their passing and will bring it away with Stufal, who's Downs got cleared out there, but took the ball, so it was a good tackle. And Spurs do it to us there what we've been doing to them all day. So sorry, slightly lucky deflection back into the path of the Spurs player. They're sort of camped on the edge of the area, and that's a shot. And I think that's the first proper save anyone's had to make. Very comfortable for Fabianski. Højbjerg, one of those ones where they've had the ball for 5 minutes and haven't had a shot, so somebody's going to have a shot. Not the most powerful, you'll see. Fabianski got everything behind it and just gathered it up nicely. So we go again.
Comments in the live chat. Alan Pardew's dad has highlighted the fact Antonio's not having a great game and he can't hold it up, which, you know, there's been a biggest deficiency so far. And Sam Kay backs that up with the if we had more quality in the final third, we'd probably win the game at the moment. There's more than valid reason, both comments there. Thing is, I think our options available to us on the bench, Ings and Scamacca, both clearly not fit enough to start games at the moment. And Antonio does offer that physical presence up front, which David Moyes loves. So you can see why he's playing, but, you know, like forever with Mikel Antonio, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Wish he would hold on to it properly. I mean, sometimes, you know, he kills it. It's infuriating. Sometimes the ball played up to him and he'll kill it beautifully or take it down his chest. And then the layoff will be terrible. I mean, he's done that a couple of times today. And there's an interesting stat just came up there. And again, it's, you know, my dislike of their stats, but just said Tottenham have had 4 shots to our 1. And it certainly doesn't feel like that, does it? I mean, you know, it's been a lot more even than that. And I suppose the last 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think either team's been outstanding, but we've certainly more than matched them, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the last 5 minutes, Tottenham have had a lot of possession, but, you know, it's been not an awful lot of stuff going on. There's Scamacca running up and down the line. We were just talking about him just a second ago. And David Moyes said during, I think, midweek in the press conference and just before this game, they said he's not going to get many minutes at all if he gets on at all. So I think they're just keeping his legs loose rather than any prospect of him coming on anytime soon. Certainly not this early. But that's nice interception from Emerson. Then Ogbonna goes in, and but it's now played long. Ogbonna's got to get back a bit. Oh, lovely play from Emerson. Superb. And that forces a throw for West Ham. That was brilliant from Emerson. Flicked the ball over a player and laid it off. Yeah. He's been improving in recent weeks. I mean, the first half of the season or so, Emerson struck me as being the solution to a problem we didn't have, or we didn't know what it was, you know. But last few weeks he's kept Cresswell out the side, and rightly so, I think.
Yeah, I think he's been very impressive. As you say, last few weeks. Start of the season, I thought, well, we definitely need an auxiliary left back. But it seems to be we bought on reputation rather than actually knowing what we wanted. Yeah. But last few weeks, he's come to the side, had a bit of a run, and he's looked more and more composed week by week. And you don't play for Italy, do you? If you're a poor player, no. You don't play for the likes of
you play Roma. For if you're Italian.
You know, if you're a poor player,
yeah.
So, you know, you might play for Chelsea if you're a poor player, but we'll forgive him that little missed indiscretion.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure. We got a corner here. It looks like.
I
think that's a corner. Yeah, that's a corner, surely. But I know. Yeah. Now, it's Romero who was involved in that blocking of Souček's cross. And he's gone down, sitting there. So we'll all have a breather.
Looked like the ball just bounced off his knee, and obviously being a deliberate flower, these balls must be highly pumped up because I don't think he can walk again. That guy.
Yeah, Polaroid comment. I meant to say something. Polaroid just comment. It was a great carry from Soufal from the back, and it was. Yeah, I meant to mention that. He took the ball forward and wasn't afraid to move into the space that seemed to open up in front of him. Tried to play Antonio through, wasn't the greatest of balls, but it went through to Souček, who got the ball to the byline. And I still, because I haven't got a commentary on, I still haven't worked out if we've been given a corner or not here.
It doesn't look like it. Last time I saw West Ham player in shot, it looked like they've retreated back to the halfway line.
And the camera angle's been very low, so we can't see where everyone is. So, Romero's going to the halfway line as players do when they're trying to come back on. It looks like, by the looks of things, it's going to have been a goal kick, but yeah. Well, I didn't think that was a goal kick. I thought it was a corner from the angle I saw. Antonio, be fair to him. I know he's not been holding up the ball an awful lot, but he's getting a lot of treatment there, and he's just again, defender's gone through the back of it for a free kick. See if we can do that. 4 minutes to half time, which is, let's say, it's gone very quickly. Kehrer plays the free kick to the edge of the box. It's nodded on. Now Bowen keeps it alive. Tries to get a cross in. Souček gets a header, but doesn't get enough on it, and Spurs clear. Only as far as Rice. A couple of Spurs players are down. We've got a Spurs player is down with a head injury, and they're waving play on. So, waving the physios on. So that'll be another few minutes because it'd been right. I don't think there had been much in the way of stoppages up to the last couple of minutes. Romero went down. That took a minute or so. And now I couldn't quite see who's down in the box there. Do you reckon Conte's watching our commentary of this in his Italian home as he recovers from his operation?
I sincerely hope so, because I've got a message for him. Get that bleep machine ready, Mike. cheer up, you miserable Italian git.
But seriously, Antonio, no, I mean, get well soon, you know.
Yeah. And okay, gallstones are a nasty thing. I had a relative who's had a gallbladder out, and it's incredibly painful, not a pleasant operation, and it could have happened to a nicer bloke.
All right. Warm and magnanimous, that's us. So. So that was Longley. It was Big stared at and asked what day of the week it is, as the usual protocol when there's a potential head injury.
No, this is the modern day era of football, mate. It's they don't ask what day of the week it is because like they're going to guess that. They ask completely every single time how much are you earning per week. And if they get spot on, they know they're fine.
I had suspected concussion once, which I ended up in hospital with after playing and playing game. And yeah, it was just after Margaret Thatcher had resigned and John Major took over. And of course, they ask you all sorts of questions to see if you know. They asked me who the Prime Minister was. And I had to think for a second or two. And he said, "Oh, I think you're all right." He said, "If you'd answered immediately one way or another," he says, you were staying the night." He said, "Nobody would have got that one right without hesitating." So, as it happened, I did have concussion, apparently. And it was a very weird thing. I got myself home. I persuaded him that I could go home. And I was sitting there at home Saturday night, and every so often the doorbell went. I kept getting up to answer it, and there was nobody there. And of course, eventually it dawned on me. Not only was nobody ringing the doorbell, that place where I lived didn't actually have a doorbell. So yeah, clearly I was not 100% fit, and nothing's changed since, I hear you say. I've just thought I'd get that one in before anyone else did.
Yeah, I'd just like to remind our viewers that you are watching the watch along of Eyes Up Mother Brown, West Ham United, Tottenham Hotspur, and not Casualty.
Yeah, well,
because we've had arthritis, concussion, a coughing fit.
Chance for Spurs there. Long ball played over the top, and it was Richarlison got on the end of it, and yeah, he's just onside. Went very wide, but Fabianski came part of the way, forced them out wide, and then stopped instead of coming for the ball. Richarlison actually did well to turn and get a shot on target. Fabianski put it out for a corner. So corner to Tottenham. Kulusevski takes, and that's all free header there, but it's over the bar just. I have to say, a bit of a chance there for Spurs.
Yeah, it's closest to come on game. I'm just trying to see the replay. Yeah, he got in front of Ogbonna. Decent header. Yeah, it was always going over the top.
I think if it had been a foot lower, I think Fabianski tips that over. But yeah, you don't like to see people getting headers in anyway. We're in the we've had 2 of 3 minutes of stoppage time, by the way, in case anyone's looking. Now we're playing each other into trouble, but Fabianski will come and mop that up. And plays it long, deep into Tottenham territory, and as we're in the final minute of the 3 added. But yes, Kehrer had to deal. Kehrer's header wasn't great, but he was dealing with an awkwardly bouncing ball, and did pretty much all he could do with that one. I know we've said sometimes his passing's a little bit iffy, but that one I didn't see he could do much more. Now, coming across again, Souček's on the end of it and heads out. That's Kane now. Tries to get a shot in, slips as he does so, and Fabianski throws his cap on it. And Well, with about 3 seconds of first stoppage to go, the referee's decided he can't be bothered anymore. He wants an extra 3 seconds break, and that's 0-0. And I think that's a good half for West Ham myself. If you're on the thing, tell us what you think. There's a few more conversations. Let me have a look. It's over here. Okay. Polaroid desperately trying to hang on until half time before he has poo. Thank you for sharing that, Polaroid. Graham Moore said, will you then log off? Yes, okay. I'm glad to see that it's not our conversation, not the lowest to do with this thing today then, Ria.
Just in the other comment by Hobo, the password had a gastroscopy yesterday, so I hope you're feeling a bit better, mate. I can imagine that would be horrific. So yeah, I would say chin up be a bit more painful at the moment.
It's got oscopy in it, so that automatically. But no, the problem I've got with my foot though, and ultimately, I was told that at some stage we might have to send you off for an injection for it. And I hate injections at the best of times. And then when they told me that the injection would be so painful that I'd have to have another injection first to give me an anaesthetic for it, yeah, I think I'll try and walk this one off. But today it sadly wasn't going to happen. But yeah, Alan Pardew's dad, decent first half. Souček has really put himself about. Yeah, he's played very well, I think, Souček, which will please my my other half, who not sure if she's lurking on the Eyes Up, but if you're there, love. I'm just a chat on the YouTube thing is now we're now going colonoscopies. Sorry.
Yeah, we're playing top Trump operations at the minute.
Yeah, so and we're getting back on those kiddie games, aren't we? Again, the operation one, but yeah, we had to pull the funny bone out without making the thing buzz. Which I never had the operation game. It just never really appealed to me. So, when that came out, I was a bit old. So I think I might mention this. I did get a spirograph for Christmas because I always wanted one as a kid, and Lou bought me one of those for Christmas. So yeah, I was every year I used to put that on my list, and every year I never got one. And,
I had one of them when I was, I would say smaller, but I haven't grown much since then. But when I was younger, I had a spirograph, and yeah, minutes of fun. Absolute minutes. Better than Etch, which I never ever got the whole.
Oh, they were. Yeah.
Horrific. People drawing like painting the Mona Lisa. All you could do is turn a knob and go. If you could draw a square, you was lucky.
Yeah, if you could get a line to go sort of straight for more than sort of, quarter of an inch, it was like, oh yeah. Yeah. People who were good at Etch-a-Sketches didn't like them. Andy Welsh is I'm not going to repeat Chris Dolby's comment, by the way, but Andy Welsh doesn't want to be left out, and he's got an operation on his leg next Saturday. But that goes well, mate. And, yeah, sorry, Chris, I'm still not repeating that. So if you've got any unusual operations, or if you want to talk about the game, join in on the chat in the YouTube feed. You wouldn't happen to have their forum open anywhere, would you, by any chance, Rio?
No, I can get it. Bear with me for about 5 minutes or so, and I'll okay. If I can scroll through any interesting comments.
Yeah, okay. But we did have the interesting development during the week of a referee actually getting kicked out of the select group at PGMOL for incompetence, which is almost unheard of. It was one of my favourite stats was that in all the years that PGMOL have been going, they kicked out fewer people than have walked on the moon. genuinely. So yeah, maybe it's a sign that Howard Webb is actually going to do something about the situation. So anyway, they're replaying the penalty claim. Not for me anyway. Less so than Souček's one. I mean, his arm's not in an unnatural position. It hits his arm. It hits his hand, and it stops it. But it stops it because that's where his hand is, not that he's put his hand there to stop it. So, although no doubt, I'm not sure what the pundits are saying, but they'll probably be moaning about it as is their want. Until I get the subtitles on, see what they're saying.
Yeah, so a few comments on the forum. I've just gone through the half-time stuff because obviously the main stuff brings up an emotional roller coaster at the best of times. So yeah, Hammer Jammer. Let's not start giving them free headers in our box from corners, please. Half-time's 0-0. It's a good performance from our men so far. Swiss Il Martello de Giovanese. Rice isn't having a good game, really, and we certainly can't afford that. Tottenham love to employ his tactic against us, dropping off and dropping Kane in the midfield. We don't usually have much of an answer to that. Luckily, they're pretty awful as well. We go in level at the break. Iron Rhino, poor game so far. Both sides looking quality, but can't fault the effort from the lads. Finishes goalless half-time, and that'll be a valuable point for us if it carries on. Dublin Dave, we need to get Fornells and Ings on. Downs and Antonio need subbing. Here we go again. WHU FC06. Antonio's basically in the team to hold the ball up and allow others to get into support. But he's been absolutely atrocious at that today. I'll bring on Ings for him at half-time. Hammer and Hornchurch, good first half from us. We've been very solid, but we need to get an extra forward player on. Kera hasn't been terrible, but he's not our weak link as far as I'm concerned. So I'll be tempting to take him off and go with a back four. And I'll bring on Ben Rama or maybe Ings, and we can move Antonio on the wing. I can't say I agree with that, mate, but yeah, valid points. But it's not all the doom and gloom that you would normally expect of a half-time chat from the forum, where, as I say, emotions can go a little bit wild at times.
I think if I've got one criticism of the team, and it is that we did, the last few minutes of the half, we did sort of perhaps retreat into the shell a little bit, and we're defending further back. Obviously, all the half-time talk on the box has been about the penalty claim, but I think the key thing is that before the ball is kicked, he's already on his way down. So he's not gone. He's not put his hand there to actually play the ball. So his hand's already there. Yeah. So Souček's one kind of went down after the ball had been played a little bit, I think. So, but I mean, it was a very, very, very bright start, and we had chances which the half-time stuff seems to have completely ignored. I'd like to see it play like we did for the first 40 minutes, shall we say, and not as we did for the last 5 of that half.
Spot on there. I think we did retreat into our shell, and we did the typically West Ham thing of dropping deeper and deeper, and it just doesn't suit us, does it? I've also got a couple more final comments on the forum of there's been another page added since I last updated you. That Dodgers put is very 0-0. Definitely agree that our weak thing has been Antonio. Would do for Ings for him at half-time, otherwise leave him on and see how we go. And some young upstart by the name of Up the Junction has chipped in with something. Decent first half from a West Ham perspective. Spurs didn't trouble our goal until the 47th minute. I just wish we'd be more ambitious in possession. And it's alarming to see how frequently we give the ball away. I suppose that's a valid point.
We should have him on here sometime, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I think he'd be an interesting guest if he could entice him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've just reminded the comments board on the YouTube feed is turning even more into. Don't you remember the old Rutland Weekend Television? But they had a quiz program for doctors on there, which was called Penny for Your Warts, and it's turning into that. Tony Mitchell had a 20mm gallstone and his gallbladder cut out in chunks in December, as it had attached itself to his liver. As for the match, not bad. Could do with a bit more going forward. So anybody else got any ailment? Anybody got dandruff or got a palsy or an ague or something? Welcome to Name That Disease. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I know when we started up these kind of live broadcasts, you know, we're not doing it for fame. We're not doing it for money. Certainly not. But every now and then,
well,
you'd like to say we'd like to go viral once in a while, but you've got to take it to a different level.
Very, very good. No, I mean, the whole thing with these things is the way they sort of take on a whole life of their own on all sorts of weird and wonderful subjects. Yeah, it was kids' toys. We haven't done kids' TV programs for a while. No, we were talking about the watching Crown Court when it was when you were off sick on a sickie. There was Crown Court. I mean, I did actually watch one the other day out of curiosity, and it was quite hilarious. It was for those of you who don't know, Crown Court was a program that was on about 3 days a week around lunchtime on ITV. So you got to see it when you were off sick at school, and it would be enact a court case, fictional court case. But what they do is they had members of the general public were actually on the jury. So they go through the whole act of going through, giving the evidence, and then they'd send these guys out and they'd come back in and say guilty or not guilty, and they rehearse the end. And the one that I saw the other day, it was just saw the end of it really. It was, and it had this very sort of timid, spinstery woman who had been accused of shoplifting, and she managed to persuade them that she hadn't been shoplifting. And at the end, the jury found her not guilty. And then it cuts through, and as they're walking out, she goes and thanks the barrister who's been speaking on her behalf. And she says, thank you. She says, I've learned my lesson. I'm never going to shoplift again. But as I say, Crown Court lives on. If you ever buy or read Viz, you'll notice the town Fulchester. Fulchester United is the team that Billy the Fish play for as well. So, and Fulchester is the fictional setting for all the cases in Crown Court. So, you ever wondered where Viz got Fulchester from? There's your answer. So, yeah, I mean that used to be on, and there used to be something else, and then telly had shut down for about 4 or 5 hours, wouldn't it? And you had to go back to being sick.
Yeah, not to resume until I was free when the proper stuff come on, like the Wombles.
Magpie. I was reading an article the other day when later years of Magpie, obviously given the people involved, but they were going to have the Stranglers on there. And then a couple of weeks previously, I think the Sex Pistols had been on the infamous Today programme. And the TV bosses got cold feet and wouldn't have the Stranglers on. And there was all this sort of statement about at the moment we've got to be very careful about having anybody who might even be vaguely connected to the Sex Pistols on. And we look forward to the future when we can get back to bringing you the latest trending music on Magpie. Are you a Magpie or a Blue Peter person?
I was a very quiet and shy kid, so I went very much along the route of Blue Peter for some reason. In my later kind of youth, it was mainly down to a complete fixation with Anthea Turner. But yeah, when I was younger, I didn't, I was young and naive. Yeah, I went I was a BBC man. I didn't like all the ITV.
My Blue Peter era was it was Val, John, and Pete, where was the classic lineup, and John Noakes. Teams are just coming out now. Let's just have a look at a second. I don't think Spurs have made any substitutions, and doesn't look like we have so far. Nobody stood aside there. So Bowen stretching his legs. Picturing Kera. So yeah, it doesn't look like there are any changes for either side at the interval. And Tottenham are about to kick off, and they'll be attacking the goal to our right, which is where away supporters will, I think it's got to be bearings, right? Now, Tonio's done quite well, and Rice brings the ball away down the line, although he's got very little help there. But he's got down past, complaining he might have been shoved off that a little bit, and he might have had a point. But West Ham start on the attack. So, as we hoped, it's been that sort of start. So, having said that, we've managed to get the ball away back to Fabianski now, but it was a promising run from Rice down the right-hand side, but he didn't have anything in the way of help that he could look to lay it off to, and he just basically ran into a blind. So. Now, Soufal and Højbjerg have just got themselves in. Soufal fouled Højbjerg and stood over him, and then Højbjerg sort of tried to get up and brought Soufal down with it. All very clumsy and amusing, and sort of idea to it, but, and we'll get on with that game. Not sure what Soufal was trying to achieve there. The foul had been given long before, but still.
Loose ball from Tottenham there. We pick up the ball, Soufal again. But yeah, we've been as someone who kind of owns the business, rightly says, we was wasteful possession at times, but Tottenham played more than their fair share of let's be sloppy at the back. And as I say that,
it's got caught there.
People gets caught out.
Trying to line up shoot, and it's the weediest of shots.
Very district with a knife of Guard there. Very loose ball. Caught out massively. Luckily, again, like we saw against Newcastle, we used his pace to get back into a really good position and hold the play up. But you got to say it was a poor attempt by Richarlison there. Ball gets dragged to the edge of the box, and he finishes like an ostrich, doesn't he? You know, all long legs, bandy, no power.
Finishing like an ostrich. Yes, that well-known footballing phrase.
I will explain later. Don't worry about it.
More like a cassowary, perhaps, or. But it was it was pulled back, and it was a good chance for Spurs that, but Richarlison really sort of didn't get anything on it at all. It was back in the days when you could do back passes. That was a back pass. Yeah.
Again, good for defensive work by Declan Rice, and again he loses it.
Yeah, it turns it trouble, and well, that's the sort of position you often expect Kane to score from. Other than that first couple of minutes, it's not been the greatest of starts for us defensively. No. I mean, Rice had an easy ball there and decided to turn back. Ball played in, flicks up to Kane, who really completely screws that shot up completely. Just it was going wide, and he just helps it on its way with a bit more force. But that's two good chances we've given away in the last couple of minutes now, and slightly concerning. But
we're reverting back at me because the last 2 weeks we started the first half incredibly poorly, and we thought we're seeing the last of that. But no, we're just going to swap up the second half to make things more interesting. Our two most accomplished players in the Guard and the right have been the most culpable. not a good start this second half.
Now, that's a free kick to West Ham in a promising area. I think Bowen's he's rubbing the inside of his thigh. I'm not sure it's a Vic and Bob impersonation or he's been caught there, but
it's a Vic and Bob.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Free kick in. I'd say about halfway. They pull back. Yeah, about halfway in the Spurs half. Everyone lined up 10 yards outside the box. It's played wide, down the line to Downs, who tries to get across in, but it's blocked and it goes for a corner. So a couple of good little passes there, and I think I'd much rather see us on the attack because the way we've given the ball away a couple of times too much in defence. But of course, we're not scoring from corners these days, so let's not get too optimistic. But corners coming from our right, swung in, and that looks like another corner to me. Yeah, that was Romero, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another corner, same time, same place. Bowen took the first one. Suchek wandered all the way out to the corner flag to give Bowen some instruction. And we'll see how effective that is. So second corner in as many minutes, and Bowen to take again. And it's swung in, but that doesn't really beat the first two men there. That's over. Out for a West Ham throw. So
clearly, the instruction of please find a West Ham head, you muppet, didn't get through to him.
Only in check. Now, Soufal swings in a longish throw. Causes a bit of. I think now Tottenham are on the break. And that's a good ball, but Fabianski's wise to it and comes out and clears long. And Bowen will keep him honest, but it's going to go out for a Tottenham throw. So this is what worries me when we're on the attack. We've got corners and stuff, but or even throw-ins. We could easily have got caught on the break there, but Fabianski was very good goalkeeping, was alert to the long ball over the top and came outside his box to clear. With his feet, unlike poor old Pope yesterday, who now misses the League Cup final because of that.
I think it's got a rush of blood to the head, or complete lunacy, whichever one is the most correct.
Nice ball played around the corner by
Owen Ferns out wide to Antonio. Ball in, not good enough.
No. But Rice picks up, and we've got Antonio out on the left. Gets it down the line, but it's well over hit, and Soufal does well to keep the ball in the other touch line. Another crossing for Soufal. It's headed clear back to Soufal, who shepherds the ball, but Richarlison nicks it off him, and Spurs can break now. That wasn't good from Soufal. Wasn't going out, and he needed to actually try and force something there. Spurs now on the attack. That's a curve crossing, but it's nobody's getting on the end of it, and it just goes wide. Soufal slap wrist for that, mate.
Yeah, I think the worrying thing is we've been a little bit lax in our passing around our own final third, but the way almost got caught out on a break there. I know we sent the big guns up for the headers.
Yeah, but that's what twice now in this half that Spurs have had promising breaks. That one ended up neither ended up anything happening, but that's what we're going to be looking for. They're looking to keep us up there, and then 3-4 passes we're trying to save the situation. Antonio lays the ball off well. Half-hearted call for offside, but it never was. Rice spreads it now to the left where there's Emerson. Brings it inside. Rice is turning around, turning circles, looking for help up the left. But it's It's a nice little ball through the lines there from Rice, but Emerson's ball down the line is blocked by the other Emerson, Royal, as the TV companies are fixating on Song running up and down the line. Yes, they're showing his stats that he scores lots of goals against us. Yeah, most teams have got a player who does that. So.
Yeah, he's no Bernie Slaven, is he?
So there's a stat came on. I think Kane's got 8 or 9 against us as well in his career or something like that. So we do sit with track players who do that, don't we? So,
oh, undoubtedly.
Journeyman players who, I mean, ain't very good as well, but always score against us. There's a number of those.
Leon Osmond springs to mind every single time.
Yeah.
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson, yeah.
You can write a book on it.
Yeah.
Which
Lukaku.
I might.
I mean, okay, some of these are better. Lukaku may in his time have been better than your journeyman, but yeah, he'd be having a lousy game and it'd go off his backside. Now there's a through ball that's cut us in half, and that's 1-0 at Spurs. That was just poor defending. We've just. I
think it was Ogbonna who got caught out of position there.
Yeah, it was a ball that just look at them though, celebrating. Well, it is their cup final, isn't it? Bless them. I mean, just the ball wasn't that great. Let me put it that way. But we made it into a great ball by sort of kind of getting out of the way a bit. I think it was more speculative, and if we sort of stayed in our normal positions, so that's the other Emerson, by the way, who's put the ball away. Look at it now, and it was, he's played it in a general area, and yeah, it's just onside. But yeah, Bonner's just let it go past him, and
that foot got caught out.
Yeah, you stick a leg out, and you block that. So all the hard work undone by just a moment of just losing our bearings, lack of concentration. I think that's what you knocked that one down to. So,
I think the biggest thing to take out of that, though, is yet another celebration where the player announces that his other half's up to duff. So we all know what everyone was doing during the World Cup break, don't we?
Yeah. Now, Bowie, can you get on the end of this? He does. Shot. Oh, it's saved by Forster. And put out for a corner. That's good work. Bowen did very well. I mean, it was a nice layoff and played on by Bonner. Little touch from Antonio, plays it inside the defender. Bowen gets forced slightly wide, but Forster sort of gets down quite well at his near post. That's better West Ham. And then played out for the corner. Rice cross gets blocked. And ball's played at the box again, but it's easily dealt with. And Spurs will bring it away. It's disappointing because we worked so hard so far, and just that one bit of concentration.
Yeah, it's very accomplished for opening 45, which has been out of character for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but, yeah. Again, it's lapses of concentration. The signs were there. Aguirre got caught out. Rice got caught out. And that ball, I mean, of all the players, the one you feel really confident of is Andrew Bonner, who always dictates the back line and covers well, but he got caught completely flat-footed there. So, yeah, it's like pick a player who's going to make an error. And the third time of asking, we get punished.
Yeah. Let's cheer ourselves up a bit. Talking of those players who always score, Craven Moorhead. Don't forget Glenn Murray. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, Craven. So a shot from the edge of the box that Fabianski palms away. Antonio gets on the end of it, and they clear it away for a West Ham throw. We've got to be careful here. We've got to keep the concentration. It mustn't stop working just because we've let in a goal. So, yeah.
I'm taking the positives. The last couple of weeks, we've responded well. We've clawed ourselves back in the game. Obviously, there's not as many minutes left on the clock this time, but you know, the signs are there that they weren't a particularly good side in the first half, Tottenham.
No.
So, you know, they're there for the taking.
Yeah.
It's not all doom and gloom.
Well, we're just coming up to, in a few seconds, we'll have played an hour. So we're probably looking at, it's around now that Mr. Moyes, next 2 or 3 minutes, tends to make his changes. Any changes you think about?
I think, obviously, the ones that people call for on the forum, bringing Danny Ings on, who, if you're going to go down that stat of scoring against sides, I think he scored 5 in 9 against Tottenham. But I think he just offers that little bit more mobility up front, which, you know, we're trying to eke out chances. Mikel's been a little bit static. So I think Danny Ings might come in for Antonio. And I don't think he's had a bad game, but I think because he is more defensively minded, do you bring Flynn Downs off and bring on Pablo Fornals or sorry, Ben Rama?
Yeah. Well,
it's
Antonio's
one, but you know,
Antonio's now going to be picking up a booking by the looks of things, where he's clearly won the ball, but Kane's gone down as if shot. And you know, of course, Oliver likes to sort of make a drama out of a crisis, and is now giving Antonio a 20-minute lecture before just brandishing the red card. Well, so it might have been a foul, but I mean, Antonio's been fouled there, and it's not a foul at all. He's got the ball cleanly. That's disgraceful, Mr. Oliver. You're supposed to be the best ref. He's kicked the ball onto his. That's just Antonio looks amazed, and so do I.
Shocking decision there.
Yeah. Long way to go, PGMOL. Long way to go. Just you can't say it was over the ball because he got the ball. You know. Now, of course, Antonio's a bit fired up and he's running around. Of course, I think I might think about replacing him with Ings, really, just to sort of save us going down to 10. Yeah, because if Oliver's going to give yellows for that, and now Fabianski's just been clattered into. Let's just see if the yellow card's provided for that. I doubt it will be, and that's a yellow card because he's. Let's have a look. Yeah, he just kicked him. And Kulusevski gets away with it. So there you go. Our refereeing in a nutshell in 2 minutes. Anyway, we come away with the ball, and it's Declan out on the left, goes down the line, tries to play Emerson down the line. Emerson doesn't read the ball, gets the cross in, it gets blocked by Royal, but they're saying it came back off Emerson. He's not complaining too loudly about it, so I guess we'll accept that one. No, he's giving it to West Ham. Everyone started walking away, so I thought it was a corner, but that's why Emerson wasn't complaining. Ref got it right. Corner swung in. Headed down by Souček, but it's cleared away. Still in the box, but now it's hoofed away by Tottenham. Well, that was good delivery and
good connection as well.
It
just fell to the second. The header fell completely to the wrong area, really, didn't it?
Yeah. Just need to be looking for, like, if we get those headers, we need to be looking for the knockdowns. Yeah, just
Just
show the
trying to
goal
the
again.
goal. I mean, like, obviously, Bonner and Gerd in no man's land. It's mainly on Bonner, but in that shot they've just shown, I didn't see Theo Kehrer in view. You had Soufal, but where was Kehrer?
Indeed. Yeah. So. Yes. Anyway, also we're back in play again, but yeah, it was one of those ones where Bonner didn't realise that it was his ball until it had gone past him. So I'd love something to actually kick Kane and actually hurt him, just so that he could, feel the pain that he was actually pretending to feel to get Antonio booked. But I suppose that's going to happen.
He played his double jeopardy card of being an England captain and moaning about it.
Yeah. I don't know if it seems to come back on now. The picture seemed to go very, very dark there for a minute, like the lights have gone out. But maybe that's just a Sky technical issue. I don't know. You've got a commentary on, and it was the lights going out. Let's know. Yes, Craven Moorhead's politically incorrect comment about Kane probably slipped over on his dribble. Yes, he tries to manoeuvre something there, but nothing happening. Spurs are having a better possession now. We've stopped working hard further up the pitch. Another block from Stuchek, though, and we've won the ball back, and now perhaps we can take it away.
Everything was doing right in the first half. We seemed to have lost.
Yeah, I mean, Tottenham, very stupid challenge from Emerson Royal there because, Rice had played the ball first time, but I think tried to play Emerson down the line there, and our Emerson was never getting it, and Emerson Royal just comes in a bit late, and anyway, they bring it on Song. I haven't seen the board yet to see who's coming off.
Come on, mate. I was expecting a musical quote from you there.
No. No, my foot hurts too much.
Okay.
No, this Richarlison's coming off the song, so they'll see if they can get a different tune out of him, no doubt, etc.
Only people preference using this whole thing, you know that.
Now, they go to the Tottenham crowd, and there's like full of what I assume to be Korean tourists holding their smartphones up to take a photograph of it. Whoever you wanted, and they're all holding up cardboard photographs of him. If ever you wanted Tottenham in a microcosm, it's that. Now Antonio sort of got free, but the keeper was aware and came out to stop the run. But Tottenham wonder why they're laughing stocks. No doubt they're selling those face mask things in the club shop, and that was just embarrassing, wasn't it?
Just picked up the corner midfield. Declan's won a possession, but no one seems to make any kind of penetrating runs at the moment. It's all kind of very, very sideways, very static.
Yeah, we're coming up to 70 minutes and still no sign. That's a poor ball, but Antonio does well to keep it. No, of course, Antonio wins the ball, so Tottenham player realises it's Antonio, goes around, holds himself in agony. And they're surrounding Oliver, saying that's got to be a red card. Now, I'm sorry, the first one wasn't even a booking, and now he's called Antonio over. And let's have a look at it now. No, nothing in that. It's touched him, but he's thrown himself up in the air. I think now Moyes will definitely take him off because I think Oliver had a word. And I think you're close, mate, or something like that. So I think you'll see Ings on very, very shortly. Meanwhile, Tottenham are on the attack. Ball's down at the byline. And ball's now at the edge of the box. Skip. Song's on the edge of the box. It's going sideways. They're trying to fashion a shot. Takes a deflection. And Fabianski comes out to pick up the loose ball. And launches it long towards Antonio, who may as well go for it, but fairly sure he's going to be off very shortly.
He can't go with full vigour, can he? Because if it one stray elbow and
yeah, exactly. Oliver's giving free kicks for things that aren't even fouls, so you actually commit one, you're in trouble. Yeah. Yeah, it's we've gone into our shells again, I'm afraid, guys. Really sort of not impressed with the much of the second half. Good as the first half was. Tottenham are lining up to get shots in now, and well, it's blocked. Antonio nearly manages to turn it around a player, but again, his first touch is too heavy. Second the ball goes out, I'd have Antonio off. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely. We need to try and
get frustrated, isn't he, as well?
Yeah. We need something to rally the troops here, because there's a lot of people just looking around and shape, but with no kind of real conviction about what they're doing. And at the moment, it's far too easy for Tottenham.
Both. Let's say there was a foul there. But Kane's moaning now. I wouldn't stand that close to him, Oliver. Yeah, as predicted, Ings is on for Antonio. Roy Oliver's
Ben Rama,
and Ben Rama is also going to come on, and as he's on for Flynn Downs, who's had a decent game, I think. Downs, so a little bit more attacking intent on the pitch for Ben Rama. And let's not forget he scored against Spurs last year, so maybe it's a favourite of his. Now, Kane's had, there we go, 2-0. Kane's had Ogbonna's shirt off him there and set up Song, and, yeah, it's a foul, but yeah, you're never going to get given it. Song goes over and starts taking photographs of all his mate. What an embarrassing play. There you go. Up come all the Korean flags. It's all right. When he goes to Real Madrid, you can go there next. But the Tottenham big sign says the word goal, which just to educate the defence. Yeah, Kane has pulled Ogbonna out of the way there, and as go up, Ogbonna's can't get it, and he's done it. And there it goes. Well, he's played Song in. I mean, it was always going to be a goal there, but
he hasn't covered himself in glory there, has he? Again,
but he does that to Kane. It's a foul. The other way around, it isn't, and that's why PGMOL starting to sack people, I'm afraid. And Oliver never gets sacked, of course, because he's one of the favoured ones. But, well, all to do now with 15, 17 minutes left. And it was basically first half performance was excellent. Second half, we've gone into our shell. But, little bit of a glimmer of light here as Bowen gets flattened and it's a free kick. And Spurs surround Oliver saying it's not a free kick, but of course it is.
It's noticeable. It's always the England pair of Kane and player who approach the referee, or did the fact they've been told not to, and constantly whining.
He got sent off the other day because he was the third person there. Spurs have 4 there. So, right, well, we've got Emerson and Ben Rama lining up.
If only having another player called Lake, then we could have Emerson Lake.
Emerson Lake, Ben Rama, yeah. So, or even Powell, because for a short period, but just for a very short period, one album, wasn't it? And anyway, Tottenham lineup. Well, Kulusevski's doing the draft excluder bit, and let's see, I'm sure of Emerson or Ben Rama. Emerson's looking favourite, but
Oldest, we're going to score it.
Be nice. Ben Rama takes, but it's over the top.
I've been running the last 3 years, you know
that. Let's have a look at it from behind. That's. I mean,
it's the first effort, but it's
it's in the right place. I mean, the keeper's never getting it if it's a couple of foot lower, but it's not a couple of foot lower. So. Yeah, so anyway, comments on the thing. Craig Moorhead, see you later, Moyes. Yeah, so we'll be, I mean, sorry, just look at West Ham started playing back in Tottenham's half now. They have to, but class there from Agard, actually. You know, we sat back for too long in the second half, and you know, suddenly we're 2-0 down. Now we're playing. Yeah.
Again, becomes a recurring theme over the last few weeks.
Yeah,
we only think sparking alive when we're on the back foot, and we haven't got the mentality. We ain't got the points on the board to be able to do that. We have to go from the very word go in the other team's faces. On the offensive, let's go down all guns blazing rather than trying to play it cautious and defend our way a streaky point every now and then.
Yeah. Well, another attack breaks down in the box. The cross comes to nothing, and Tottenham can bring it away. And we're a bit, well, it's a stretch, but we're just letting. That's a great tackle from Kara, but yeah.
How much space did Skip have there? He had the freedom of the park.
Yeah. But again, like, I wouldn't say we were stretched. We had players back, but nobody seemed interested actually going towards Skip. I mean, Akera finally sort of decided to put a tackle in, perfectly timed, but it was in the box. And why aren't we taking it off him 10, 15 yards further up the pitch? Why are we letting him run that far with it? Putting a tackle that further up the pitch, we can go on ourselves. Substitute for Spurs. Perisic on for Longley. So we got 13 minutes left plus stoppage.
Because Tottenham will win in, probably about 14 minutes left.
Yeah, 12 minutes. 2 more subs coming on for us by the looks of things.
Fornals and Ben Johnson by looking at it.
Yeah. So that might. I mean, Johnson's arrival might switch things around at the back.
I presume we're going to go to a flat back 4.
Yeah.
And I'd probably have to take Angelo off, unfortunately.
Talking of the devil, he's just headed clear. And Ben Rama, no. Oh, well, turned into a nearly good ball. And we've got to throw it out of nothing there. Ben Rama's layoff was terrible, but I think Soufal was got up the pitch and managed to just keep it in, and Spurs put it out for a throw, whereas that looked for all the world like I was going out for a Spurs throw. So little things. But ball played long towards Bowen and comes off the back of the Spurs player, but Bowen picks it up, gets the ball to the byline, and he's gone past him. He's in the box.
Yes.
Back. Oh. That should be 2-1.
Jared Bowen did incredibly well working down the wing.
Yeah.
Drove into the box after beating I think that's Perisic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Laid it to Ben Ramo, who's it? And the TV angle was awful, but once you look at the proper one, it's nowhere near.
Yeah. It didn't get on target. It's a good 3 or 4 yards wide. But good work, though. That's what we want to see more of. Fornals and Johnson sort of still on the side there, sipping their bottles of water. You know, if you're going to make a substitution, why not then when the goal kick?
I'm still trying to work out who the two changes will be because
I'm just using that myself. Now Tottenham on the break again. Song comes forward. It's gone down the byline cross. So Ogbonna puts it out for a corner. So obviously you won't do the swaps now. But let's see. This is just watching the players dodging paper aeroplanes there. So they know how to amuse themselves there, don't they?
You know, for a fact, one of them hit him, it would have gone down, and we would.
Yeah.
Oh, Saeed.
Oh, see what Saeed was trying to take the ball away and had Akers to run into, but you have to take the ball with you to do that. Now he's won it back. He's fouled again, fouled 3 times there actually, and referee waves play on, and not good refereeing that because. Right, okay. Ogbonna's coming off. You're right. Ogbonna's coming off for Johnston, and Stu's coming off for Fornals. Johnson's first action will be to take the Emerson off for Fornals. So Fornals is waving fingers at people to see who's playing where. Johnson's first action was to take the throw in that had been won rather than the free kick that ought to have been given. 9 minutes left. So I'd suggest, guys, if you're going to score, now would be a good time.
Sorry, mate, I had someone at the door. What was the other change? Who did Fornals come on for?
Oh, right, I didn't notice you gone. I was kind of watching the box. Sorry, mate. It's a free kick to West Ham. It was Emerson off for Fornals and
Okay.
Johnson on. Yeah, Johnson on
back
for
forward.
Yeah. So as Oliver makes his presence felt by making West Ham move the ball back all of nearly a yard there. Well done, Oliver. Rice plays the free kick in far corner of the box, and Suchek comes away with it out down towards the corner flag. He's trying to find some help. Plays it back to Stu. Gets the cross in, and it's just clipped away. And a goal now and some pressure would be interesting. Benrahma, nice ball back. Rice nearly loses out, but manages to beat it. See Kane there, just sort of leaving something in late on Fornals. Do you remember when England captains didn't do that sort of thing?
When they had dignity and respect.
Yeah, dignity and class. Yes. But anyway, we get a bit of possession now, but it's all very deep in our own half, and the speculation on Woods' future is going on the YouTube feed. Craig Moorhead suggesting we might approach Michael Carrick as a possible replacement. Fornals tries to play a ball in, but doesn't get anywhere. But he tries to win it back, but Song's just going to turn and run with that and get away from him.
Just going back to the I think they're not.
Declan's gone in on Song, and it's like, but Song's not that. Song's very good at being in agony. Remembering clutching his face when somebody went near him last time. Comment about the paper from Hobo. if they get hit by a plane, will it turn up in an episode of Air Crash Investigation? Well, I don't know. I suspect it will. But certainly, I fear for Song's life the way he's gone down after that challenge. Oh, he's up again.
A good ball.
That's a good ball.
And
Ings didn't control it. Oh, lovely ball, but Ings clearly sort of not. You know, he's not had any. I don't think he's actually had any touches of balling since he came on, and his first touch let him down there because he'd been clean through. You're going to score your first goal. Now would be a good time, mate. Now would be a good time.
Just going back to Craven's comment on the chat about, I for one can't see them throwing the dice and getting rid of Moyes. I think the time to do that was at a World Cup break. They clearly didn't want to.
Yeah,
they believe in him. So I think now it'd be too late. And if by miracle they did, they're not going to appoint a young kind of promising up and coming manager. They're just going to go for a safe pair of hands, a firefighter to keep us up. The idea of Carrick, I get the appeal, but at the moment it just doesn't fit the brief, and it doesn't fit the brief of our owners at the moment because, as I said, they're after safety and security. They're not after progression and forward thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had not good run, but had a not bad run, shall we say, of late, and that's kind of released the pressure a bit on Moyes and all that. But I still have my suspicions that Sullivan's got he's just been waiting for one more defeat, sort of thing, which this now is looking likely it's going to be. Good work from Fornals, excellent work from Fornals to win the ball back and backheel it to Rice, who skips over a challenge when he could easily have gone down. No, Tottenham. And Benrahma out on the left. Does a couple of step overs and then beats himself and then just loses out. Should have done better there, Benrahma. And now Rice does well, win the ball back. Ings is in the box. Gets the shot in, but it's blocked. That might be Ings' first shot for West Ham. Now
he's lost.
Yeah. I thought it was a foul there. I thought the West Ham player was held down. Clearly Oliver didn't, or perhaps he did, but couldn't be bothered. But everyone seemed amazed that the play went on. It's now Tottenham now playing it all the way back and just trying to run the clock down. This is dispiriting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, Craven's definitely of the Moyes out persuasion. There's no excuse for it now. They can't back him any longer. It's atrocious. We need 15, 20 more points where we're even getting 3 from. And 8 stars just says they're not getting rid of Moyes. There's another school of thought there for Craven again. May not be this week, but if they do next week, then he'll definitely go, well, next week. And it's now turned into one of those must-wins. As Bowen's, again, he started cutting in now. Where Bowen's taking people on. He was doing well on the left as well, but he's gone back over to the right. Benrahma on the left, edge of the box. Standing on the ball now, looking for... It's a good ball in from Rice, but nobody's looking for it, and it's gone harmlessly up for a goal kick. We got a minute and a half plus stoppage to go. Yeah, and of course there have been these rumours of a bottom 3 clause, and Hobo says, "Is this the time to test the alleged bottom 3 clause?" Well, we will see. Craven Rob was saying who we'd have instead of Moyes, and Craven said, "I really don't care. We need a change now." Well, we certainly need something. I mean, we saw the best. I think today we've seen the best and worst of us. We've had first half, particularly the first 40 minutes, I'd say. Arguably the better side. The last 5 we sat back, and we've done the same in the second half here, thinking we've played well for 40 minutes, we've got a point. Which, as you can tell, is not a great tactic.
I think what's becoming more strikingly evident to me as well, we're incapable of stringing 2 decent halves of football together. We play one half, and in the other, we constantly done it all season. We're not putting a consistent run, not only of games together, but actual football matches, because everything we did right in the first half in terms of being compact, pressurising, making ourselves known, making ourselves a bit more physical in their face. We haven't done that once in the second half, and it's just not good enough. And we're a side in serious trouble here. And next Saturday's game is be all and end all.
Bowen's been taken out down by the byline, so it'll be a free kick. Just outside the box. I mean, he's just been taken out here. It's a shocking challenge. They've just clattered straight into him. That's a stamp on the foot. Given that Antonio has got a yellow card for actually taking the ball, that's you can tell that's painful. And Bowen's clearly in some discomfort here. We're 1 minute and 7 seconds into, by the way, 4 minutes of stoppage. And we'll just see what's going to happen with this free kick. I think Moyes looks amazed that there's been no card, and he's talked to the 4th official saying, well, you've been dishing them out left, right and centre to my guys, which, fair point. Cross comes in from Fornals. Souček misses the header, but it comes off Sarr, who's late sub for Spurs, and goes out for a corner. So,
Bowen's still off the effects of that. It's clear foul and nothing given. Yeah.
Well, we got the foul, but we didn't get the yellow card that he deserved.
Yeah.
Corner comes in, nothing. Bowen can barely walk. That's. I mean, okay, we've only a couple of minutes left. I mean, another foul. Come on, ref, how many more now? Yeah. And he's just taken out Soufal, and I think the card's coming out for that one, but it's nowhere near as bad as the one on Bowen.
Same boat.
Well, actually, it was. That's a potential. Yeah. Perisic gets a yellow card, but
there he goes. What's his name? Look.
Yeah. And Højbjerg's given the verbals now at Rice. And Højbjerg's now going to incur the wrath. But Oliver's keeping an eye because people are pushing and shoving in the box. And
still going at it.
Yeah, Højbjerg and Rice are at each other's throats here, sort of thing. And Oliver's trying to take, Rice is quite rightly pointing out that there've been 2 red card offences there, and Oliver's not given anyone, and Oliver just sort of shrugs his shoulders. Free kick comes in again. It's headed clear, and Kehrer wins the ball back, keeps the ball. I think there might have been a penetrating pass on there if we've been looking for it. And now Johnson's on the ball. Plays the ball out wide. That's going to be cut out. There'll probably be another minute or so to add to this for the shenanigans that we've just had to go through.
I say, will Oliver bottle it because you don't want to be caught in another round?
Yeah, it'll be interesting if he just blows up on 4. You know that when our Spurs have got a break on, so it can blow up as far as I'm concerned. But some good defensive work there from Rice. Rice is clearly annoyed though. You've got a point when you see challenges like that go through, and there's the final whistle. We lost 2-0, and it ended with a nasty taste in the mouth, because when you see challenges like that going through without sanction, without proper sanction, and then you see Antonio get booked for what he got booked for, you've got to wonder, haven't you? But so, game of two halves. We were good for most of one, terrible for another. The good thing is that Graham, who's not feeling very well, said he probably wouldn't pop in if we lost. So I say good news. Any chances of this production becoming in any way, shape, or form professional just went out with the final whistle, I think. So, but, yeah. Let's see what people are saying. I daren't send you to the forum, but if you want to go in and have a look, yeah.
Let me get me crash on it. I'll have a look.
Chris Dolby will take Putin as manager. Yeah. Chris Dolby said he'd take Putin as manager, whose decision making can't be any worse than Moyes. I think they're talking about Will Still. That's the chap in Reims, isn't it? Is it the chap who hasn't got any coaching badges, and technically they have to pay a fine every time he takes charge of a game? But that's the thing.
I've got one comment in the aftermath from the forum. Ironside 58. On the positive side, we have 2 more points than I expected from the last 3 games. However, today has been as bad as anything else all season. No pace, poor ball retention, lacklustre tackling, minimal fight, no cohesion, no leadership on or off the pitch. I think bit of a misspelling here. You say no in goal, he'll wait until after next week before making a decision regarding Moyes. That might be a week too far. I think the decision's been taken out of Goldtown. I think he might have meant Sullivan. But you never know, West Ham. Weird things have happened.
Well, there are 2 good things about today. One is that, at least I'm not in agony having to hobble down Tottenham High Road or Seven Sisters Road to try and get home. I could barely make the station at this end. So, and secondly, we can still laugh at Tottenham with their fans holding up their phones with the display saying, "Song, you are already a Tottenham legend," on their phones. I mean, like, I mean, that's not just sad, that's tragic, isn't it? So, however bad things get, at least we'll never be Tottenham. So that's all I can say on that. Man of the match then, Rio, insofar as there might be one.
Well, I'm only going to give it based on a 45-minute performance, because the second half, it was non-existent. We saw nothing from any one of our players whatsoever. But I thought Thomas Souček had an outstanding first 45. But even in the second half, he's probably the pick of a very poor bunch. Jarrod Bowen came into life towards the end of the game, but it was too little too late. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Thomas Souček, just purely because the first 45 minutes was everything that we know he can do, but he's not been given the opportunity to do.
Yeah. Same here. I think I was going to push it his way, partly because I thought we had a good, especially first half, as you say, and partly because it's the missus' favourite, and I'll probably get clipped round here if I don't. But so to summarise anyway, Tottenham 2, West Ham 0. It was 0-0 half time, and West Ham looking good value for that. Second half, West Ham showed little in the way of attacking intent until it was too late. goals from Emerson Royale and predictably Son. Wrapped it up for Tottenham, who, to be honest, don't look all that much. And we can have much fun at their fans now thinking they're top four because they've somehow scraped into it, and when they're not really. But for us, well, something's got to change. Something's got to change. We've got to go out with more attacking intent. And when we did in the first half, that game was there to be won. We've got to stop this soaking up and hoping to win on the break, which is what we try to do in the second half. So different candidates from man of the match. Hobo's said Rice at the end for looking like he cared, which Højbjerg noticeably was trying to step forward. Then as soon as Rice stepped forward, took a step back. And you're brave, aren't you? So, very, very disappointing to lose against what I consider to be very average opposition when we actually played well against them for much of the game, a part of the game.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hello.
You said you weren't coming on if we lost.
I actually popped in just to see if you were still on. I thought you might have jacked it in by now and walked off in a huff after watching that debacle.
Yeah. We were just saying, well, I don't know, you want to chuck in your 2 pence worth. We're about to go, I think. It's just we were hanging on, I think, partly because neither of us knows how to switch anything off. So we were going to wait for this broadcast to become slightly more professional with your arrival, but I'm not
sure that's going to happen. But I'm quite happily offer my tuppence worth if you like. It's not really much to say, is there? It was terribly disappointing. I felt the team were awful. We were just as an organisation, I think, from the pitch to the dugout, everything was just off today. The players just, first half was okay, I suppose. We kind of limited Tottenham to a couple of chances, but we didn't really create a lot, did we? We had that shot right at the start, which was all right. But I'm looking at my notes now. The only other time we really threatened was when Bowen had that sort of shot come cross that Souček almost got on the end of, which if he had managed to, after 17 minutes, if he had managed to get on the end of that, it might have changed the game a bit. But
we think it'd have been offside, mate.
Was he offside?
Yeah.
But after that, they didn't really threaten us until the second minute of added on time when Longley had that header just over the bar from the corner where he beat Ogbonna, which perhaps was an indication of what was to come. But the second half, I don't know. We seemed to start okay, but then we just made mistake after mistake. Agerd lost possession, let Kulusevski in. Rice gave the ball away, didn't he? A couple of minutes later, Kane had that chance that he screwed wide, fired across goal, and it kind of set the tempo for the rest of the half. And the goal was kind of coming, but it was just, again, it's from our own attack. I mean, how many times are we going to do this before we learn? It started in their half, and we just didn't defend it properly. Again, I don't know why. I think he had a bit of a brain fart. He should have held his position really, but came across and left the space behind him. It's a goal, and from that point, you're looking to David Moyes and thinking, right, we've conceded. 10 minutes gone. You've got to make a change now. You've got to get something out of this game. You have to make a change. And we waited. What was it? 9 minutes, I think, before the first change. No, it was 11 minutes. The first change, I think, was Son coming on for Richarlison, and then Ings and Antonio. Ings came on for Antonio, Ben Rama for Downs, and then 30 seconds later we were 2-0 down. And again, it was a dreadful mistake. Angelo Ogbonna this time caught out, and again we just looked bereft of confidence and organisation at the back when we were caught on the counter. And we just offered nothing. We just offered absolutely nothing. And that, for me, I looked at the last couple of games, Newcastle, Chelsea, we weren't brilliant, let's be honest, but, we managed to take a point. And against any team like that, if you take a point, you've got to say it's okay. We move on to the next game. Today, if we'd have, drawn 0-0, you probably would have said the same, even though it wasn't that great. But you can't you can't play teams like and Tottenham weren't good. Let's be honest, that was a poor Tottenham team in relation to the teams they've put out recently. I'm sure you've covered this already. It wasn't a good team. They were missing key players, and we just didn't get over it. And it's the same old thing again for me, chaps. It's the inability to hold on to a football. Time after time, we get the ball and we just kick the ball anywhere. And it's kind of, I know it's such a basic thing, and it's almost Sunday league, but you just want to see a player get a foot on the ball and find a teammate time after time. I don't know if it's because we're shot of confidence, but instead of maybe taking a gamble and trying to do something with the ball, we just hoof it away and wave. And this is kind of how the first goal came about. We did this several times. Mickey Antonio, shadow of his former self, he must have run 10 miles in that first half, but whenever he got the ball, he looked like he was back in non-league football. Quite frankly, couldn't control it. Declan Rice, probably the worst game I've seen him play this season. I don't know if that's after effects of the virus he had recently, but he was off it. It was just a horrible, horrible afternoon, I think, from West Ham, and against that lot as well of for anybody. David Moyes, 56 minutes, they score. I'm expecting to see a change after 4 or 5 minutes at the latest, not 13 minutes later. Sorry, no, 16 minutes later, a change finally comes. What is he doing all that time? Surely you have to have a plan as a management team to say, in this situation, this happens, in this scenario, this is what we do. But there they are. There he's chatting, with Nevin and Nolan on the bench for ages, and it's just so frustrating. And I've been really patient with the manager. I've tried to defend him whenever possible, but in situations like it's so difficult to say, give him a break, because he had the opportunity to do something there. He could have made a change, could have brought on an extra striker. And I'm not one of these, obviously, as with you guys, that thinks, we put another striker on, it's going to make us more attacking. Of course, it doesn't work like that, but at least try something different. You've got Danny Ings sitting on the bench, you've got Scamacca, Antonio's not doing anything. Just give him a go. Why not try something? Spurs, I'm never going to use that phrase there for the taking, but in terms of that being a valid statement, then probably today more than any, they as I said, that wasn't the best Spurs team we've ever seen, and it just feels to me like a huge opportunity missed. And it also heaps massive pressure onto the team for next week, because they now know they've got to go into that Forest game. All right, it wasn't a game we could probably afford to lose or get a point in anyway. You've got to go in and look to win it, but it is an absolute must win now. I mean, the situation is desperate. It really is desperate, and we've got a management team there. And Moyes doesn't look like he knows what to do. And I've defended him to the hilt this season. I feel kind of let down a little bit after what I've seen today, because there was just no sort of real intention to change it up until the second goal went in. And, he doesn't help himself, does he, Moyes? He really doesn't help himself in situations like that. So for me, thoroughly disappointing, incredibly frustrating. I've had to deal with people on the forum all afternoon, which has been pretty frustrating as well. It's almost like you get people waiting for something to go wrong before they can, they post, which is annoying. But this is football. This is the nature of it. But so for me, as someone who supported Moyes and backed him to the hill, I'm very, very disappointed with what I've seen today. Not with the team per se. The team was all right. Lineup was okay. We started all right, but just the lack of the lack of impetus and the lack of dynamism and proactivity, the need to make change was clear and obvious after the first goal. We didn't respond, and it cost us in the end. So that's my monologue and disappointment summed up in about 15 minutes, I think. Sorry, you wanted to go home, didn't you, 20 minutes ago?
What are you trying to say there? But no, I mean, I agree with you. Other than I thought we were better for about 35-40 minutes than I think you may be giving us credit for, but without really testing them. But had we played in that way for the second half, I'd have thought would have been, it was the halftime talk should have been ignore the last 5 minutes of the first half, carry on playing as you did in the first half. The substitutions, I got the impression that Antonio only came off to save him from being sent off, even because he got very harshly booked, and then he put in another challenge, which was I think had he not been unfairly booked for the first one, he might have got a yellow for that. And you know, I said at the time, the next time the ball goes out of play, he's hooked, and I was right there. But yeah, it was. But yeah, I mean, disappointing. I mean, yeah, the phrase there for the taking. But they're a poor side, Tottenham, and I wouldn't even say we made them look good. We just made them look average. They didn't have to be good at the second half.
Yep.
So very disappointing. But I'm now going to go and take some more painkillers for me damn foot. On the bright side, as a centre rear, at least I haven't got a hobble down to Seven Sisters or Tottenham Ale with this ankle. Which, just as well I couldn't get to the station on the way up, really, isn't it? But I'm going to go and put myself in an ice bucket, take some painkillers, and rather stupidly hope I'm fit for next week.
Rio, you've been very quiet. I'm not sure if that's the case before, but what you look like you're boiling inside to me. Kind of, you've got that look on your face of not resignation, but kind of silent fury and anger.
I think I've reached a point where frustration and hope have come to a point where I've lost both. I've lost hope that we're actually going to pull ourselves out of this, because the way the players are shaping up mentality-wise, looks like there's no fight in them whatsoever.
Yeah,
everyone's looking for a leader on the pitch, and no one's there. No one's out to find one, or no one's stepping up the plate to be one. In terms of frustration, and I've spent my whole life being frustrated watching this club. So it's no surprise that we're in this position. It's no surprise that we've got back to this point once again. It's just the rinse and repeat mentality of it. It's downheartening. But where in the past you could look to someone who could actually grab us out of this rut and shake some ideas and at least provide a bit of leadership skills, and you can look to someone as a talisman who offer a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
I don't see anybody there, and I don't see any passion there. I don't see anyone who looks like they really care that much, and that's the thing that really hurts me, because there's 60,000 people week in, week out turn up at Olympic Stadium who desperately care. But 23 of 25 squad members look like they're for a jolly up, and that's all they're there. Collect the money, get out. If we go down, we'll move on. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't move on. We're in this for life. We might stop going at some point. We might move away. We might relocate. We might suffer some kind of problem, which means we can't go week in, week out. But you never stop loving your club. You never stop caring. The players look like they've done the complete opposite. They're there just for a paycheck. When the good times are good, brilliant. We get the adulation of the crowds. When the chips are down, we'll find something better. And it's the rinse and repeat mentality that's destroying everything. Sorry. Anyway, what's your recollection of Etch-a-Sketch?
Etch-a-Sketch. Is that the thing that they used to do the circular, the wheels and that, wasn't it? Was that Etch-a-Sketch?
It was. You were doing that and not what you're thinking.
I'm not quite sure what that is, to be honest with you. I'm thinking door knockers, but
yeah, something like
Etch-a-Sketch. Yeah, I had one. Who didn't have one?
Never had so. They were rubbish, weren't they? I bet you were the sort of guy that you were good at it, though, weren't you? I bet you could draw things on it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Come up with something artistic at some point.
Yeah. Whereas Rio managed to square, and I basically got bored with it after about 5 minutes and went out back to kick a ball around. So
I preferred fuzzy felts, to be honest with you. I was much more creative with fuzzy felts. Got a spirograph for Christmas, having always wanted one. We were talking about this earlier on, as is our want of going off on a tangent. So,
And also 1970s TV series Crown Court was also a feature, which I don't know if you remember that or not. You might be a bit young, Graham.
I do remember it. And actually, I was watching an episode of it on YouTube the other day. There was a... no.
It's on Talking Pictures. The
Oh, is it?
marvelous... Yeah, we're talking about it being a staple of sick days if you're off sick, school sick. Yeah.
Lunchtime TV.
Yeah, so... And and it being set in Fulchester, much beloved of this. But anyway, that was probably the highlight of our broadcast today. And,
infinitely more interesting than football.
Yeah. Now the man with the on-off switch has arrived. I think it's probably a good time for us to say our goodbyes. Thanks to everyone who commented on the YouTube feed thing, and I try to mention as many of you as possible. And if I didn't, then well, sue me. But thanks for tuning in anyway. And yes, that was the other interesting thing. We had a game of what's your ailment, and because everybody's sick today, so we had all that coming through. So next week we'll be coming live from A&E somewhere or other, I suspect. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I think we're going to call it a day now, are we, boss?
Yeah, you wrap up, mate. It's your show. It's your show.
Oh, okay. Well, this show was brought to you by... No. Thanks, everyone. Thanks very much to Rio for making things a little bit easier for me. Apologies we couldn't bring you the win, but maybe when you got the boss back next week, we might have better luck. But from us, it's thank you and good night.